Hey, good morning and welcome to the Seed to Sprout podcast. This is our very first live episode.
Yeah, and we got make sure the mic is working and everything, right?
Yeah, no, we're good. We're
Okay,
good on all
cool.
of that.
I saw a little red X on the screen down there, so I was confused.
Oh, that's just like a different audio.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
there's
the
a whole
only
bunch of them. All right, sick.
Yeah, so it just shows you that the only audio that's being captured is from this microphone.
Okay, nice. Well, in case you're new, I'm Jason,
My name is Hannah.
and we have started a podcast on homesteading and our journey. And so far, we've talked about some of the challenges that we've had to overcome from before even from the beginning, from purchasing this property and home into what it's been like our first year. We've been in this house and this property only since September of 2024,
Yeah.
which is crazy. It feels like we've been here for
20 years.
a really long time. Yeah, and
It feels like we've already lived a lifetime, and we've talked about how that kind of makes you feel panicked because like you look at the property and we've done a lot with it in just 1 year, but because it feels like we've been here longer,
And
it feels like we should be further along.
it feels like we should be doing more, and then you look back and you're like, oh wow, dude, we've only been here for a year. We've actually done quite a bit. How many times we've rearranged the house? Probably 365 times.
I've done something to rearrange once every single day since moving in. They gotta keep it fresh, honestly.
It's the feng shui.
I find that I personally, and like we as a family as well, move through phases. And every time I feel like we've hit this energetic shift,
Yeah.
I feel the need to do a little like deep cleaning, like a little rearrange, so it matches us, so the house moves with us,
And I'm all for it. Like I'll be at work, and sometimes you'll tell me that you're gonna rearrange the house. Sometimes you'll just send me pictures of it already rearranged, and no matter what, there's hype. It's just like, yeah, dude, I'm stoked. I love the rearranging. But last week we talked about man, what did we talk about? We talked about the challenges of having like the first year challenges, first year on the homestead challenges.
Weather specifically was
Yeah.
like a big one of them.
It was like we discussed the wind, we discussed the chickens, we discussed the weeds, we discussed that kind of stuff. And the last two podcasts have focused a little bit on challenges, and I think it's also a good idea to focus on successes as well. And one of the things that we were going to talk about this week, which could be it could be kind of a mountain to climb from the top to the bottom, right? Where you're talking about the challenges of making sourdough all the way up to perfecting the recipe, because I don't know if you would consider it perfected at this point, but well, you're also not eating it.
I'm not
So,
eating it anymore now.
You gotta count on me to tell you that bro. I think it's perfected. Honestly, I love it. It's like I'll never just like sit there. You're never gonna find me like just sitting there with like a prepackaged like thing of bread and just like eating it. But sometimes I'll just go and I'll just like slice a slice and just eat it just by itself.
And I
Of your
think
sourdough.
maybe because we had the goal coming in that we were going to homestead. We could have just bought the house and the property, gotten it landscaped however would look pretty, keep nice grass or whatever, and continue our lives the way that we were living. But we agreed that we wanted to start homesteading. So this is really just the first year into that journey. So when we
Sure.
were first starting, we were buying more prepackaged foods. Like we were keeping them as healthy as possible, like granola bars and
Yeah,
and
that's
and
true.
bread, getting bread from the store. And then probably like 6 to 8 months in, I figured out sourdough to the point that we have like a ritual. So now when I make it, I make at least 4 loaves at once, or sometimes I'll take an entire day and I'll make like 10 loaves. It just, it all depends. But
Well,
as long as I make a bunch of it in advance, we don't have to worry about running out.
and it's kind of cool because like it was a huge learning experience. So you have a lot of knowledge when it comes to baking things and just creating things. Like you have a lot of knowledge about recipes and stuff like that. And so, the things that we bought that were prepackaged is one of those things that we could slowly start to just make ourselves. And it's just like, okay, well, we were buying, what were the, are they the Laura bars? Are those the
Or
date
something,
ones?
something similar.
There's these bars that are made out of dates, and then Hannah figured out how to make them ourselves. And so not only do you save a bunch of money, but you can control the ingredients. And of course, like those bars, I don't remember if they're the Laura bars or something else, but there's relatively few ingredients in those to begin with. But always, so I'm not worried about the ingredients necessarily when it comes to that particular packaged product, but there's a lot of plastic involved, just a lot of trash, like things that you just throw away. You can't compost the cardboard that it comes in because it's colored
like
cardboard and it has ink in it, and it's got that kind of like that waxy protective layer, so we started slowly just replacing the things that we were buying that were in packaged things, and started making it ourselves. And there's still packaged stuff that we buy, but we buy like packaged, like frozen fruits and things like that.
Yeah, we buy a lot of frozen fruit.
But,
for sure, but we're not growing a lot
and that's
of fruit,
the thing.
so.
And then there's things that they're just really hard to grow around here unless you have a greenhouse and you can kind of control the climate a little bit more. Like it's really hard to grow mangoes. We're not going to grow a banana tree, like there's things like that you just have to. In terms of like strawberries, for whatever reason, I've never really had luck growing strawberries. And strawberries naturally come from cool weather climates. You can find them growing wild in Cloudcroft, and we've probably seen some of them on some of our hikes. And I don't know if you've ever eaten one, but man, they're good. You gotta get
It's
to them.
always good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that reminds me, before we moved here in with each other, so we were living in separate cities, just about an hour away. And so when you would come down and visit with me, we would end up going to Cloudcroft because it was closer to where I was living. So we were just filling every single one of our weekends with different hikes, and it was this really cool period of time in our life. But there was that period of time that you just, every time we were on a hike, that you had the kids in on it with you, you were looking for those strawberries.
Oh, yeah.
He was off trail, just scoping out for strawberries the whole time.
You gotta get them before the deer get them,
Competing with the deer. Deer can't go to the grocery store.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a solid point. But whatever. If they could, then we've become more intelligent than the deer, so we can shop at the grocery store, and we can.
So at what point did we become more intelligent than the deer?
We can forage some point in the evolutionary process. I don't know at which point. but here we are, smarter than deer. Well, some of us.
I can't speak for everyone on that one. So sourdough.
Yeah, that one.
Deer can't make it because they have hooves. They don't have thumbs.
No, oh yeah, so
And,
they can't need the dough.
Yeah,
It's funny too because a baby.
the dough.
All right.
Thumbs to do stretches.
I was thinking baby deer, but the doe is the female deer, correct?
Yeah.
The fawn is the baby deer. Okay, so luckily, I didn't get to finish my statement before I look like a moron. I'm over here talking about how I'm smarter than deer. I bet you they know that the female is called the doe. All right, anyway, you can go ahead. Sourdough.
A deer, a female deer. So, sourdough was one of those things that I thought was overly complicated. So I was like way more intimidated by sourdough at the beginning than I needed to be. And I think it's because there's just, oh my gosh, just search it. Search it on YouTube,
The
search it
internet
on
makes it
Instagram.
complicated, yeah.
Well, and it's almost become like this gate kept, like homesteading is the same way, which is why I think it's so important to talk about the fact that like we still have prepackaged foods at home. Like the kids eat cereal in the morning a lot. Like
True.
we're still buying oatmeal. You know, we're not doing absolutely everything by hand, but we're doing so much more by hand than we were just a year ago. So it's just like you have to find your compromises, and you can't think like I'm gonna go into homesteading 100% and I'm gonna do it exactly how this internet influencer says I have to, or
And
it's not authentic,
yeah,
you know? And sourdough's the same way.
and it's rough because like you just a lot of people they see the finished product, but they don't see the work that goes into the finished. And you could see that with anything, you know, whether that be
Yeah.
exercise or whatever it is. It's just like, man, like I I'm looking at this person, like let's say you want to lose weight or something, and you're looking at someone that you're admiring or not. Well, maybe admiring is the right word. Maybe at least just like looking up to, inspired by, yeah. And you know, but you just see the finished product. You don't know if that person started at 400 pounds and like had to really really work to get to where they're at. You know, all you see is the end product. So
Oh, it's like the man, must be easy for you because you're skinny.
yeah, that's the worst.
It's like you don't know what I battled, and you don't understand that like some people they're not starting from overweight. Some people are starting from anorexia.
yeah, like underweight, severe underweight.
And that might not always be like because of anorexia. Sometimes it's other illnesses. Like there was a period in my life that I was like 115 pounds at 5'7", and like my muscle was depleting, my body fat percentage was extremely low, I wasn't eating, I was weak, and I had real medical things that were going wrong with me.
Yeah.
And I had even doctors ask me why I was complaining about being underweight, because like, well, at least you're not fat. So it's like
These
the
doctors.
the life isn't good for just because someone's skinny.
Yeah.
You know.
And the problem is, and I know, like, for our audience members, I know we get off track, like, a lot, but you just gotta bear with us if you can.
Follow along with the ADHD conversations.
Yeah, well, it makes it easier to podcast, honestly, that way, because there's just, if you're not good, if you don't have the gift of gab, and you're not good at just, like, making words out of, like, anything, then it's like it's difficult to podcast, because then you just like you get stuck and you end up like
Like,
yeah, what are
Yeah.
we talking about now?
I don't know. We're certified yappers.
The weather.
We our issue with podcasting, I think, is that we forget to time ourselves, and we forget to like look at the time and be like, "Wow, we've been yapping for 2 hours
And we still got
instead of
another podcast to
one."
shoot. Yeah, no, but we're getting better with it. So I honestly don't
Absolutely.
even remember, like, I started apologizing, and I don't remember what I was gonna go off track with. I know we were talking about like health and stuff like that, but I don't remember exactly what I was where I was going with that. But anyway,
Well,
sourdough.
I'll circle back to sourdough. Circling back. The moral of that story, I guess, is that like homesteading, it doesn't have to be intimidating if you're doing sourdough for the first time, and it sounds scary because you're keeping something alive in a jar and not killing your family at the same time, so you have to kind of like
Yeah, it's just
you got to know how to take care of it, but it's not nearly as difficult as people try to make it seem. Like it's almost like an ego thing, like, oh, not everyone can do sourdough.
only
I
can, 'cause
can
I'm
do
special.
sourdough because
feel-
I'm special.
I feel like canning is along the same lines as that, and like there are, of course, certain things that you have to that are of serious concern, like botulism. But if you're like and I've never canned, so that's something that we're gonna get into as well. But my understanding is like if your stuff is airtight, you're golden. And the way to tell that it's airtight is like, yeah, you like they say, you get a mason jar and you put the lid on it, but you don't put like the ring around,
Yeah.
and then you just lift it up.
And if that seals good, then you're good. As far as I know, I've never canned before, and there's still more research to be done in that department
There's
before
different ways to can and things like that.
Yeah, well, and there's like certain things that I know that there's a lot of talk about what things can be canned water bath style and what can't be, and I
Yeah.
don't really quite know the difference yet. So, hey, if there's anybody that happens to be listening in either now or later, and you have some canning tips or you got good channels for us to follow so we could learn how to can soon. We really wanted to get the garden going
Yeah.
first, and we had some challenges with that this year.
And I really do like. I don't remember if she necessarily teaches you how to can, and we both follow her.
Barefoot
Mimosas.
Yeah, shout out Barefoot Mimosas.
Yeah, if you're listening. But no, I think she puts good content up there. I just can't quite remember if she like teaches you to can or if she. I'm sure at some point like she has some kind of tutorial or something up there.
I'm sure she posts them.
I know she definitely cans.
Yeah. Speaking of tutorials, okay, sourdough. If you want to know the step-by-step instructions that I follow in making sourdough, we just posted a video recently on our YouTube channel. So you can go and check out the long form video, and I kind of talk to you face to face about how to do the sourdough process. And then if you don't have the attention span for that, there's also a short on there that I just voice over with the recipe and a little bit of instruction. So it depends on how new you are to the process, and I hadn't gone into the process of starting a starter in that video yet, but that is like something I plan to do. But for now, like the easiest thing that I could say is like people try to complicate it with like you have to have this exact ratio or it's not going to work out. And I'm telling you, when I'm building a starter from the ground up, which I experimented with, like my mom gave me a starter that's extremely old. Like there's like legends around this starter that my mom gave me, that it's like hundreds of years old from Alaska, and it's been passed down through someone's family. So whoever gave it to her.
Old culture, bro.
Yeah, so like if it's true, that's really neat. And we've got an old starter, but I've also made starters from scratch just to compare and contrast and see how easy the process would be from start to finish, and it's really not that bad start to finish. Like, and I find that I don't even measure.
So what was the compare? Well, I have a couple follow-up questions for you. So one is, what was the compare and contrast like when it came to using an already started starter and starting from scratch? What did you find as like the ease and the difficulties, I guess, between either one?
When it comes to baking and like the use of the starter, there's absolutely no difference. One of them wasn't more sour than the other. It didn't rise better than the other one. A sourdough starter is a sourdough starter.
Yeah.
And they're going to have different tastes, like different signatures to them, which is like why it's really cool. Like I might make a loaf of sourdough bread, and then someone else might, and our cultures be different. So or our process might be different, and they'll taste good, both of them, but they'll be different.
So, I guess the next question, let's talk about the sourdough and why it's better for you, because we keep talking about cultures, and for those that don't know, cultures are just colonies of like different species of bacteria that are growing, that are basically fermenting the food, right? Or, so you're feeding the bacteria is what you're feeding when you're feeding these microbial populations, and those microbial populations are prebiotic.
Yes.
So they feed on they're
food for the probiotic.
Yeah, exactly. So you have like in your gut you have flora you have, I guess it would be fauna. You have fauna in your gut, which is live animals, bacteria, a bunch of bacteria in your gut, and you can feed that bacteria really good food, and that's the kind of bacteria that'll digest like fibers and things like that, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so you're eating like you're eating sourdough, and you're enhancing the population of these gut microbiomes that feed on the other stuff that you're eating, like that are probiotics.
So there's one channel that I come across every once in a while. I have no idea what her name is, but she does like these really cool sourdough recipes. And all I can think about is just like the way that she says gut healthy. It's like at the end of every video she goes, "They're delicious and they're gut healthy."
Good.
So like every time I'm making sourdough, it's like a brain rot in my head. All I hear is, "And they're gut healthy." But then that in short is like what all of that means. Is like it's what makes sourdough a lot more gut healthy. And then the other advantage to just baking your own bread, even if you're not using sourdough, is like there's a difference in ingredients. So that's how I started, honestly. I was really intimidated with sourdough at first. So I just got good at making homemade bread. Just
different.
with yeast.
Dude, and then there's so many different things that you can do with bread. Like, you wouldn't think that, you know? It's just all like...
bread.
Bread. But, like, man, there's so many different things that you can do. And you were making, like, pumpkin loaf bread, cinnamon raisin bread, like, apple...
If you can...
Cinnamon bread, yeah.
If you can think it, it can be a sourdough flavor,
If you can think
honestly.
it, you can do it. Isn't that like a slogan?
Something.
Yeah,
Something
someone
like
had that slogan.
Or you can dream it or something like that, if you can dream it.
And we're live, so we can't edit that part out. Poor me. It's brutal.
We're gonna get copyright now.
Oh, hopefully not. That'd be
won't.
whack, huh?
It'd be fine.
We're just gonna put a bunch of copyrighted music in the background of the podcast. And then we can make a video called "How to Waste Your Time."
And it'll be muted.
Bro, I think we're onto something. I think it's hilarious. I think we should do it.
We should waste our time.
So back to the sourdough thing. One of the things, and I don't know if you put it in the video or not. I haven't gotten around to watching it, but when you put the glove over the jar.
Yeah.
Did you get to that in the video?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, that's a good way to tell whether my understanding, so I'm going to guess and then you can correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that that's how you can tell if the culture is alive and active in your sourdough, because these microbes are it's an aerobic process, meaning it's an oxygen filled process. And anaerobic would mean that it's without oxygen. Yeah, so it's an aerobic process. These microbes are feeding on the sourdough starter, and then they're fermenting it, but they're breathing the oxygen out. And so when they breathe the oxygen out, it forces the latex glove to go from limp to straight up.
It inflates it. Yeah, the gases that it releases when it's ready inflate the glove. And see, that's just one of the benefits. So because of that, you can't screw a lid onto your jar of sourdough starter.
It'll explode.
Yeah, it'll absolutely explode. Like, it's happened to people. Like, even in your refrigerator. So if you keep your starter in your fridge when you're not using it, still don't put a tight lid on it. You know, there has to be air that escapes. It's not as often that it would happen in the fridge, but I have heard of it happening, so I just avoid that. So when you put the glove on, it inflates, you know, instead of exploding. But then if you have something like Like, let's say you just set the lid on without, like, screwing it on. The issue that we had when I'd started sourdough is, like, the whole starter got infested by fruit flies.
Oh, yeah.
And...
Just more protein.
And it just kept happening. So I was keeping dried starter in the freezer so that I could restart a starter every time we lost one.
Yeah.
There's one time I ran out and my mom actually had to, like, come in clutch and give me some more starter, because I didn't want to wait, the process of starting a new one from scratch, because it takes like a week or 2 weeks or something like that before it's ready to be used. So we would have gone without bread for a while if my mom hadn't helped out and given us some starter. So we started doing the glove thing. Yeah, I saw it somewhere in the interwebs.
And I think we saw it roughly around the same time, because I remember seeing, like, I think it was a short or something where someone did that, and I was like, man, that's actually pretty smart. So
yeah, well, and then it's just really funny because everyone messes with the glove.
Oh, the kids.
The fingers and stuff.
Yeah, because it's so, But yeah, no, it's really cool, and it's part of being self-sufficient is knowing, and we've talked about this before, I believe, on the podcast, of self-sufficiency. It's not just about, okay, well, I'm good at baking stuff. It's like, okay, well, that's one area of self-sufficiency, but self-sufficiency means that, like, if the world ever shut down, like, you would be able to survive. And we got a little glimpse of that, I think, in 2020, because the world did shut down, and, like, I didn't like going to grocery stores and stuff like that, and, like, obviously we weren't living here and we weren't homesteading and things in 2020, but and I don't know where you were at in that year, but as far as, like, where I was, I knew how to at least grow food. Like, there are certain things that I still didn't know how to do. Like, I didn't know how to work on cars and things like that, but I still know how to grow food. I still knew how to do, like...
That was my best garden year, 2020,
oh, really?
Because there was just so much time that I was able to invest, and there was, like, a good amount of property where I was living.
Yeah.
So, me and Rhiannon had, like, a cool porch set up.
Nice.
And we were, like, growing a lot of things in pots, and then somewhere else on the property we had started composting, and then we were building, like, a bigger garden, and then I struggled again with the wind during that period of time, I lost a lot of plants.
Yeah, and a lot of homesteaders have to deal with some kind of adverse weather conditions. I mean, even yesterday we got some pretty gnarly winds out here.
Insane.
It almost, like, blew me off the porch, and I'm pretty, like, dense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's cool though. It's definitely a journey, and I haven't even learned how to make the sourdough. So, like, at some point, we can learn that together, and we're just...
It'd be a fun video. It's
that
just
would
like
actually
a
just be
family.
teaching. Yeah. Doing a little educational video.
Rhiannon wants to do a video on rusks with me.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
No, and it's cool because, like, we get the kids involved, and not by any force at all. Like, we ask them. Well, sometimes they just ask us.
We don't have to ask them.
Can we do this? Can we do that? It's like, yeah, dude, you guys are more than welcome to. The only reason they asked to be on the podcast, and the only reason we didn't do it yet is because we're gonna try to configure a space that's a little bit wider for more people to fit, and then Aiden's gone this week, so it wouldn't necessarily be fair to have one of them on and then not, like, have the other one on. Our kids, we just try to treat them very, very fairly. So if one kid gets something, the other one gets the same thing, unless, of course, like...
Or someone's in trouble, or...
Yeah, and I don't even know if, like, trouble is the right word, because, like,
Just, like, learning a lesson.
Yeah, because I don't feel...
That's kind of how we parent.
I don't feel like our kids ever get, like, in trouble, because, like, I feel like that, like, trouble would be, like, okay, yeah, you're... I don't know. You're really, really, like, crossing some kind of like
So, like,
boundary, like
yeah, like
a really heavy, hefty boundary.
like lying or doing something behind our backs, and that's, I mean, these are things that kids do every once in a
Little
while.
white lies
Like,
maybe, but yeah.
like, or like trying to get technology time behind your back or something like that. That's something that they do when they're a little bit younger,
Yeah.
especially.
Well,
But at this age, for both of them, there's a lot of trust there. Like, they are really responsible kids.
and we can jump into that too, actually, because that is part of the homesteading journey. You have to have a good support system. You have to have people that are willing to want to actually do things. If I or you were the only people interested in doing this, and it would just make it impossible, because like then either you'd be doing all the work that's geared towards creating this homestead, or I would be doing all the work geared towards creating this homestead, and it's not like that. We both want to do it, and it's not by force of, one person pushing the other. Come on, man! Like just do this thing. Like let's go. And it really does, like, not to sound cliche or whatever, but like it does take a village, because homesteading is huge, man. Like you have a yard to take care of. At some point you have animal. Well, I mean, we do have animals to take care of, but we don't have livestock animals to take care of, and waterfowl and stuff like that. So we do have animals. One of them's pushing me right now. Look at this guy. We showed you the cat last week. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, check this out. That dog.
That's Cheese.
Little Parm. You know what's funny is that we call him Cheese.
Well, his real name is bad enough.
His real name is Little Parm.
Little Parmesan. His
And-
government name. Little Parmesan Cheese.
And whenever we moved in here, I just like Little Parm. Like that's a lot of syllables, dude. And so I just started calling him Cheese, and then it just kind of caught on. Like everyone calls him Cheese. Everyone calls the cat Kitty instead of like her actual name. We have nicknames basically for all the animals.
We have a long list of nicknames for Cheese.
We have an actual like shared iPhone notes list on dog names for like nicknames for like all the pets, and also sick band names and sick song names and all kinds of stuff.
The sick band names is the funniest list we have.
And it's probably the longest list that we have.
It's definitely the longest list. One of the other long ones is the Jasonisms. So every time he says something like off the wall hilarious, I keep record of it in my list of Jasonisms.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. We have
Make
a
it
lot
a
of
book one day.
we have a lot of fun, and that's another part of the homesteading journey too, is like you have to have fun with it, because like there are stresses. I mean, there's going to be stresses whether you're homesteading or not, and it's just going to come with different ones. It's like, okay, well, we don't have to worry about like having to make rent this month. We don't have to worry about like a landlord coming over and seeing that we have more pets than we said we had, and like kicking us out. We don't have to worry about getting evicted about over anything. We don't have to worry about like rent increasing,
Yeah.
So those are stresses for your like even like non-homesteaders, or there's just going to be stresses with everything, but that's life. You're just going to have to deal with stresses the best way that you can, and kind of overcome the challenges that are put in front of you, but you also have to have fun.
Yeah, and I think like in the it takes a village mentality, you also have to be the village. Everybody talks about how it takes a village. Well, it's just like, I can't do it because I don't have a village. And then it's the same people that get reached out to, like, hey, I could use a hand with this right now, and they're like, no, I'm too busy. So it's like, you have to build a village by being a village too.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can't be too busy for our kids. We have to show interest in the things that they're interested in, and that's not like we have to. It's just like, we're psyched to.
I mean, you saw me playing with Barbies yesterday. I was playing with Barbies with Rhiannon because she asked me to, because Aiden was gone, and our nephew came to spend the night last night, but he didn't come until later. And she's always, getting Aiden to play with her and stuff like that, but he was gone, so he shouldn't really have anyone to like play with. And then she's just like, Jason, can you play with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. What do you want to play? She's like, Barbies. And I'm like, all right, sick. I'll be right there. And then like ended up like going in her room. I played with her for, I don't know. Like,
it was a while.
Yeah.
Like, I think honestly longer than you had intended going into it, because you were so into it. I went in there to tell you something, and then I decided to tell you later, because I was just like, you guys were so into your storyline.
Zoned in. Yeah, we were playing like with someone. I was like with the different like Barbies and Kens and whatever, and we were playing like Target employees. So like I went to go get a job from Target or whatever, and we were just like playing the different characters. And then we switched into like high school, so like we're playing like high school or whatever, and then after that I was just like, all right, well this is probably, because I don't like to just abruptly quit playing, just like, all right, done. I like to give a little bit of warning, so it's just like, all right, like a final scene, make it good.
This is important. I think that this is like a really important part in de-escalating reactive kids, because and like she has been in the past, like she's gotten a lot better about it, but if you do tell her, just like abruptly, like, okay, time to stop, like her brain cannot handle it. She goes into meltdown mode. There's like a rage that sparks inside of her. It is a very like reactionary thing, because you just took her out of what she was doing, and she was happy doing what she was doing.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a really important parenting tip if you have reactive, well, honestly for any kid, but like especially for reactive kids, is just like the warning, like, okay, in 10 minutes we're gonna do this. Yeah. And I find with Rhiannon it helps if we give her timers for certain things. Like I homeschool Rhiannon, and we have a set routine in which she has a timer, because it's easier for her to get mad if I say, okay, well now your break is over and it's time to get back to work. Mm-hmm. But if she has an expectation, like, okay, this timer's gonna go off, and when it goes off, it's not personal.
Yeah. Well, and I get it at the same time, because if you think of like a driving analogy, right? Like you're gonna be a lot more shocked when you have to slam the brakes on, and come to a sudden stop, as opposed to like gently coming into a stop, and it throws your brain into this fight or flight kind of deal. So I get it, like abruptly stopping anything is like kind of rough, I think.
And it's like
for
autonomy.
Anybody, more so for reactive kids, but
I think it comes down to autonomy too.
Yeah.
Because it's something that most kids haven't developed, is like this idea that when things are happening, it's not because they're just happening to them. Mm-hmm. Everything feels really, really personal. I think that this is the same for a lot of adults still.
It's a victim. Well, it can turn into a victim mentality kind of thing if you don't tell yourself that you are not the victim of your circumstances.
Yeah, there's a book, and I still haven't read it, but it's on my read list. It's The 4 Agreements.
Oh, I remember, I think I saw that book and I bought it for somebody. It wasn't you?
It wasn't me.
Okay, I bought it for somebody. I don't remember who it was. But I bought it as a gift for somebody. And I heard good things about that book as well. I read the back of it. It looked really good.
So like one of those 4 agreements, and it was actually my massage therapist that brought this up to me.
The most recent one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Grounding Monarch in Las Cruces here.
Yeah,
she does Reiki
cool.
and massage.
We can drop the link.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does she have I'm sure she's got
an Instagram. I know that for sure.
We can, whenever we're reviewing the episodes and stuff like that, we'll I'll write stuff down of where we're gonna drop links and stuff like that, so I can remember, and then we can just drop the link in the description.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, she's absolutely amazing. Um, but she was telling me, and like that's why I like the massage session, is because she'll sit there and she'll talk to you the whole time if that's what you want. She's like, if you want me to like shut up and like make this a really quiet, serene session, like then we can do that. But if like the silence is more uncomfortable and you'd rather talk about stuff, then like let's yap.
It's called massage therapy for a reason.
And it's so, she's like this gal is somebody that like I'd hang out with constantly, and she's
She
so
did seem
cool.
really cool. I didn't get to talk to her that much because like me and Rhiannon went to go run some errands, and we were just kind of hanging out in the, which was cool because then we got kind of like some father-daughter time,
Yeah.
which doesn't. I mean, it happens at the dojo, but it doesn't really happen when it's just like me and her a lot. That's why, getting into the, like the playing with Barbies and stuff like that, because it's just me and her, and that just, it's not something that happens a lot. It happens with me and Aiden because I have to take him to school and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But the same thing, like you don't get a lot of one-on-one time with Aiden, and whenever you
Not
do,
nearly
it's
as much.
just. There's something like real special.
Trying
like,
to make something of it.
this,
Yeah.
it's like the same amount of specialty as you would get with Rhiannon or that I would get with Aiden, but it's just a different kind because you're like, well, it doesn't happen as often.
Yeah.
You know?
But circling back, the 4 agreements, one of them is to just not take things personally. So it's like the 4 agreements is a book of agreements to live your life by. And I definitely love to talk more about it once I read the book. Which I think I found it on Thrift Books. It's like $5 or something, or maybe it'll be at Coaz.
If you can read it in a week, we can talk about it next week.
I'd have to get it first. Because I can. Remember, you got me that book for Christmas, and it took me like 2 days to read it.
Oh, then this is like off topic, but I just noticed that like, I got the Jingle Bells cup, and you got the Santa cup, and then last week we both had like the tarot cups, and we didn't plan for this at all. We planned for the hats. We did plan for the hats, but that was it.
Shout out to Crystal for picking us up some matching hats.
And these hats were actually kind of a funny story. So we have a sister-in-law, and she is almost like, the gifts that she gives are real. We're talking about it, they're real father-like. They're real father-like gifts. You know that they come from like a really special place, but they're very like
dad gifts.
Yeah, they're super dad gifts, and
she
that
wrapped
actually kinda
my
match the.
Yeah, they do.
You guys can see that it says "Be happy." Or no, wait. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
There's kind of a glare from the window.
But she wrapped my birthday present in duct tape and then wouldn't let me use a knife or scissors to open it. Like, that is the most dad thing.
I used to do that. I used to do that to people. I would like wrap their man, and like I feel bad now because like we're all about Homestead and health and not wasting stuff, and we were talking about duct tape and stuff. That's a huge waste of duct tape, but one time a year, it's like whatever. You're gonna have some waste. There's no way that you don't. There are countries that actually burn their waste for energy, but we're not one of those countries. We just throw them in landfills.
I'm sure there's downsides to that too, like fumes and stuff like that being released into the atmosphere. So I'm sure there's positives and negatives.
Well, there's
on every.
Even when you go into landfills, like I'm pretty sure that landfills have one of the highest amounts of like methane gases that are released into the atmosphere. Feedlots too. Feedlots have huge amounts of methane gases, and methane's actually like more dangerous than carbon. It just has a shorter half-life.
Yeah.
So it's actually one of the main contributors of greenhouse gas caused climate change.
So this brings me to like another important topic, and that's Christmas.
Okay.
Like, or I guess the holidays in general and mass consumerism. around. And so, like,
The worst. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just thinking, like, you think Halloween, you buy a new costume every year, and your old costume goes to the thrift store. And the plastic buckets, new buckets every time, and then thrift stores are so overrun that there are so many pieces of clothing that get sent to landfills or other countries and they still don't get used. So it's like fast fashion is a thing, but so is the mass consumerism when it comes to the holidays. Like, you got to decorate your house in a different theme every year. So last year's theme, it goes to the thrift store or goes in the trash.
And one of the things that you should strive to do if you can, I mean, it's a lot better to throw your stuff in a bag and take it to a thrift store than it is to throw it in the trash.
100%.
Unless, of course, it's just clothes that are just, you're never gonna, do anything with,
Yeah.
But even then, like, those can be projects to learn how to sew. They can be used. Like, anything that's trash, other than maybe, like, plastic wrappers, I feel can be repurposed. There's this, idea called upcycling where so there's recycling where you just put things back into the world, and that's essentially what you could be doing with what you're doing with thrift store donations is you're donating these clothes and stuff back to thrift stores, and you're just recycling them back into the environment to people that might need them.
Like, glass becomes glass,
Yeah, but then there's upcycling where you take things that people no longer want and you turn them into something else, or you just better them. Because I think even if you get like a dresser or something, like an old dresser, and you paint it,
Rhiannon's is painted.
I think that's still considered upcycling.
Absolutely, yeah. Repurposing is like another thing. Like, upcycling and repurposing
Kind of
are really cool. They're kind of in the same category because you can give something a completely new purpose. Like, one piece of furniture that was used for this can be used for something completely different.
And then, like, you just, I don't know, you feel better about yourself when you're giving them, because yes, thrift stores are awesome. I do love thrift stores, and we can talk about thrift stores and going into them and finding cool stuff and all these art projects and all this stuff. We don't got the time for it on this podcast, but I do like thrift stores, and a huge part of homesteading is like thrift store shopping and doing things like upcycling, and the stuff that you find at thrift stores is actually really cool. You're gonna find the same regurgitated stuff at Walmart and Target and all these big box chain stores. You're gonna find you go to like Hobby Lobby, and you're gonna find some inspirational quote that's like painted onto 4 pieces of wood that's attached to a string that you can hang on a nail, and it's just like
$45.
Yeah, it's like, be kind, be you, be marvelous,
be bright, be the brightest star.
Yeah,
in
or
the
like,
sky.
And it, like, that's cool. That's cool if it works for people, like, if that's what you want to buy, that's what you're into, and you're actually going to keep it, and it's not just like throwaway kind of nonsense. I think that you should support local artists more than anything, or, well, not more than anything, but like, I think you should support local anything more than anything else, and as much as you can anyway. Sometimes you can't get away from it, like, we got things going on as the farmers market is going on here, and so we can't necessarily go to the farmers market because we have other obligations that same time, that same day. But supporting local, I think, is a huge thing. But
I was just gonna say, so like, when you're buying Christmas presents for people, like, if you're gonna go out and physically buy Christmas presents for people, that's where you want to do it. It's farmers markets, local businesses. Like, you don't want to be mass ordering absolutely everything online, or like Shein, Temu, like those kinds of things.
Yeah, those are even worse.
Those are the worst. It's just mass produced garbage, and you have to think about, like, I'm buying this for somebody, but are they actually going to use it long term? Is it something that they'll really enjoy, or is it something that they'll just kind of be amused by
for a little
and then
bit.
not use for the rest of the time?
And it's like your mom bought me for my birthday, I believe it was, that fat book on homesteading. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, it's more like a practical gift. And she said it as in like I was gonna be disappointed. And I'm like, no, dude, like this is what I love. Like I'm always wanting to learn things. I have the mindset. I try to have the mindset of a lifelong student because I'm always constantly trying to grow and improve and learn. And that's just my mindset. It keeps things interesting. Otherwise, you're just living like a day to day, and you're just in the same. Instead of leveling up, you just plateau, and that's not what I'm interested in. But circling back to the thrift store stuff, I had gotten, and I told you this story, but the audience doesn't know this story. So I had a bag, like our truck was leaking some radiator fluid for a little bit, and I ended up sealing it off, and that was part of the other thing about the homesteading and self-sufficiency is that I'm learning, continuously learning, but specifically on things that I don't know, and then just improving on the knowledge of the things that I already do know, and stuff like that. So I'm learning how to deal with problems, especially with auto mechanics, because it's expensive. You can go and take your stuff to a mechanic, and they might just have to tighten a screw, and they charge you, $400 or $500 because it's $80 an hour for labor or whatever, and your car just happened to be in the bay for a long time, or whatever it is, right? So the truck was broken. Long story short, truck was broken for a little bit. So I was taking Hannah's car to work, and I go to the gym on Wednesdays and Fridays, and it was one of those days I went to the gym, and then there's one of those donation bins, one of those green donation bins, um, close to the gym that I go to. So I went to drop the bags off in the donation bin because there was just like a bunch of them. They were taking up the entire hatchback, and I had put one of it was a mixture of Rhiannon's toys and Aiden's toys and clothes, and I put Rhiannon's dollhouse. There was a dollhouse in there, and I put it in the bin. And like as I was closing it, I heard kids. Yeah, maybe not.
They might just be sitting at the couch.
Oh, maybe. But yeah, so like as I was closing it, apparently this lady yelled out, "Can I have that?" And I had no idea. I didn't hear her at all. And I already shoved it in the bin, and then like I was walking back to the other side of the car, or to the back of the car to get the bags of clothes and other toys and stuff. And then I just see these two ladies walking up, and then I think it was like a mother and a daughter. And the mother was pretty like elderly, not like elderly, but the daughter was definitely probably our age, maybe like older, maybe like in her 40s. So the mother was like probably in her 60s or something, Either that or it's just her friend, I have no idea. But either way, she was like, I just hear, "Do you have any more toys?" And I like looked at her, and I was all like, "Oh yeah, dude, like we got a bunch of toys like in the back." And I was like, if I just shoved a whole dollhouse like in the bin. I was like, if you guys came by earlier, I would have given you that one too. She's like, "No, I saw you shove it in the bin." And I was like, and I yelled out, and I was like, "Oh really?" I was like, "I didn't hear you at all, dude." I was like, "I'm so sorry." She's like, "No, it's all good." And I was like, "Well, what did you yell out?" She was like, "I just yelled out, 'Can I have that?'" And then she told me she has this little girl. She's like, "I have this little girl, and like she would love to get some toys. We're coming from the shelter, so we're starting all over again and all this stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, dude." I was like, "I got this bag of toys and this bag of toys and this bag of toys." And I was like, "I got some boys' clothes too." I was like, "I don't know if you have a little boy or if you could use these, but they're like size 8 to 10, if that'll work." And she was just like, "Oh yeah, whatever I like can't use, I'll pass on." And I'm like, "All right, sick." So they walked away with like 4 bags of toys and like 1 bag of clothes.
Yeah.
I would have given them books too, but like they were walking and the books would have been too heavy. Like I feel, you know, they didn't ask anything about the books. Um, and so like that's fine, but they still like they walked away like that little girl can have a holiday now because if you're they might not have had any money to even go even the thrift store stuff might be cheap, but it's not cheap for someone that doesn't have any money.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
so if you can find that kind of stuff, man, like that is a suggestion. Thrift stores are great. I would recommend throwing your stuff or giving your stuff to a thrift store as opposed to just straight up throwing it in the trash if you can avoid it. But
Reaching out to shelters, it's like that. Like she gives an idea there. It's just like
well,
there are shelters that get donations that you can give donations to. My mom every Christmas would like donate. She'd make like crocheted beanies and stuff like that, and she'd donate to Cope.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, see, and actually that brings me to another point because I totally forgot about this, but my nana had passed away, and we were going through her stuff. Like me and my sister were like going through her wardrobe and stuff like that, and we were trying to figure out like what to keep and what to. So like nobody on my dad's side of the family is alive anymore, except for me and my sister, right? And so my grandpa is gone, my nana's gone, and then my aunt is gone, and my dad is gone. So all four of them. And those were the only people we had on my dad's side of the family, except maybe some distant cousins or something that I have no idea about, right? But so we don't know what to do with this stuff, you know, because it's like, okay, well, this is fashion for like 70-year-old, 80-year-old ladies and stuff like that, and we're looking at like all the stuff, like some of the stuff, like, you know, there's some sewing things that we could keep, needles and threads and all kinds of other stuff. The kids are learning how to sew, so that'd be good for them. I'm learning how to sew, you know, so that'd be really good for us to practice like as a family too. But we actually were going through this wardrobe and we didn't know what to do. We don't want to just throw it out because for the same reason we're talking about. And we ended up calling around to some of the nursing homes and stuff like that in Alamogordo, and people are just like, people don't know generally that you can donate to nursing homes, because they were surprised. They were like, we don't normally get calls about donations. And it's like, yeah, dude, well, I mean, you have all these elderly people living here. Maybe they don't have like certain things that they could use. We have a whole wardrobe. Like, you guys have a prom night here, dude. You know, that you know, old Betsy's gonna go in there looking fly, bro. You know what I mean?
Go Betsy.
Go Betsy. Get that, Richard. You know what I mean? No, but for real. See that
Go Richard too.
Oh, well, no, go Richard too, but we don't have clothes for Richard.
No.
Unfortunately. And we're
It's
actually...
okay. Men take less effort in getting dressed.
Yeah. Well, and then I think from there we can kind of... we've hit our mark. We actually did really good today. We stayed within the hour. It's an hour
we're like exactly at an hour, right?
and like 30 seconds. So I guess one of the things before we sign off is what we can expect to talk about next week.
I think that next week, because we're right after Thanksgiving, going into the Christmas holiday, I think we could talk a lot about crafting Christmas gifts,
And
not having to like buy brand new stuff, you know, making decorations at home.
yeah, and with that we can even do like a tutorial or whatever with the Christmas ornaments. I mean, we'll have to wait for the kids to be able to do that, so we might not be able to do that this week because they're going to be gone. But that, and then that would be a perfect segue. It wouldn't even really be a segue because they would be intertwined into thrift store shopping.
Yeah, so
Finding things
we'll
at thrift stores, and we can also even talk about, like, we can touch back a little bit on the mass consumerism, because what happens after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, so you end up being thankful for all the stuff that you have for one day, and then the very next day you're, stabbing each other in Walmart for a 52-inch flat screen TV.
Well, and see, the point of Black Friday was always supposed to be Christmas shopping. You know, it was always supposed to be like what you could get on sale
Now
to
it's
shop.
greed, dude.
100%, and it's like, yeah, no, we could go all day into this subject when it comes to the holidays and mass consumerism. So
Well, we got
we'll talk
more
about
next week.
yeah, we'll talk about having a more traditional Christmas. You know, reusing the same decorations, making decorations as a family. That makes memories to begin with.
That's a good topic.
Simple gifts
Yeah.
instead of like complex technological type stuff
Throwaway
that
gifts.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it has more meaning when you make it yourself.
Yeah, and especially if they're like knickknacks and stuff, because knickknacks, they tend to be sometimes they just throw away, gifts, and I'm guilty of doing that myself. Just buying things for people because I'm just like, oh man, there's only 2 weeks till Christmas. I haven't bought anything for anybody yet, and there's no thought or anything behind it. You just straight up. Of course, I was like a lot younger whenever that was the case, but it does. I am guilty. I can't pretend like I'm not. I think we all are.
Oh yeah, no, I've had like a Christmas a few years back where because it was cheaper, I ordered a lot of stuff on Temu, and it's just like that's growth, is understanding why that isn't okay, why I don't agree with doing that anymore, and kind of transitioning into remembering the values, like what makes you
Yeah.
think about Christmas. So
Yeah.
we'll go into all of the holiday
Let's do it.
conversations next week.
So we'll see you guys next week, and before we sign off, again, just be sure to follow our socials if you're interested. If you like this channel, comments go a long way. Even just likes, subscriptions. We're up to 15 subscribers now, so thank you to everyone that has subscribed to the channel as well. It's not possible to bring any content without people that are interested in it. So, and then like we always say, if you guys have any topics that you would want us to discuss, then go ahead and drop a comment and just let us know. And that's all from me. So unless Hannah has something to say, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, and if you drop comments, you can always let us know what kind of videos you want to see. Like if you liked the sourdough tutorials, we can do a lot more baking tutorials, starting a starter from scratch, stuff like that. So if that's the kind of thing that you guys want to see and you have any questions,
Yeah.
shoot, even when it comes to like making a turkey
Yeah.
or
So
something like that. So just let us know.
Basically by request, and if we don't know particularly what you're asking us for, then that's something new for us to learn. So
Exactly.
that everybody wins, I think. All right. Peace out. See you guys. Say peace, Parm. Say peace, Parm. Peace, Parm. All right. Bye.